Today, I'm going to show you how to upgrade your Separatist MTT. My modifications allow it to hold 32 droids throughout the entire interior. And yes, you heard that right, 32 droids. I've also done some stuff such as upgrade the barrel length so it's more accurate, as well as allow the cockpit to hold 2 droids, 1 gunner and 1 engineer / pilot, just to keep it as accurate as possible. So first, the cockpit. I decided to keep its normal composure, but I decided to also make it so they can hold 2 pilot battle droids, some cargo, as well as have a whole control panel for them to use so that it doesn't look like they're just controlling off of one thing together. I included some really nice tiling on the back, as well as just some grill pieces here to kind of make like a ventilation system or something like that. These side panels now hold a whole lot more guns, just so that there's enough for all the droids on board, or at least all the ones in the droid rack. You can put 2 battle droids here to control the rack. As fun fact, in universe, it isn't controlled by the pilot and the gunner droid, it's actually controlled by 2 droids down here who can control the rack and deployment. For this back section, I turned it into like a cargo bay, so you can just store things. I think it'd be cool to be a repair bay, so like a stab gets damaged, flies back, and then gets repaired before going out again. You could even make like a command center in here. You just would have to use something shorter, because that's not going to really allow it to close very well. So, now for the part everyone's been waiting for, the droid rack. First, you're going to need to take 2 of these, and don't worry, we'll take them later from the set because they're a harder part to come across. Use one of these pieces to cover up that back hole, and then you can just fill that in with whatever you want. I use those pieces, and you can complete that back section. Next, take these and put them going forward, and then add one of those parts right there. Add this black tile right here for the cargo crate to go on. Next, we're going to add this piece right here, a large black tile, a smaller black tile, and then this piece here. Then we're going to take these pieces, which you got earlier, and then put them here. Then we're just going to add a couple more parts to finish off this part of the build. Next, you're going to want to take this piece, which you should have built, and then place that right here, back where it normally would go. Along with that, you can also replace this where it went originally. Next, you're going to want us to take some tiles and put those here, just some control panel pieces. Doesn't have to be the same ones I use, but just some stuff to make it look nice. And then just add a couple of these parts here and here to just kind of smooth out the top and make it look really nice. To remove the stud shooters, first you'll have to take out this piece. I just find it easier to remove the big wall right there. Then you're going to want to take 2 of these, put them together, and then put that right there. And then, of course, make sure you do this to both sides. And then we're just going to cover that up with some nice details. Next, we're going to redo this control panel design. So take off some of the pieces so that you just have this top part. Add in this piece or any part like this, doesn't matter, that only has those 2 studs on the outside. Add this piece back on. You can put your original control panel on there. And then I also added 2 other control panels to the sides just to make it look a little more detailed and as though it's a little bit of a bigger screen. And then I just take 2 of these, put one underneath each control panel like that, each side of it, and then put that right there to finish off the cockpit. And then you're going to want to take these side panel pieces and replace that 2x8 black plate with just a light bluish gray one. And then you can just attach those right on there. And then the overhead hatch design stays the exact same, so you can just throw that right back on top. To upgrade this part and make it look more accurate, you're just going to remove these pins, and then for the top one, you're going to replace with a 4 long pole, and the bottom one you're going to replace with a 3 long pole. Then you're going to take 2 of these pins and put them on each one. And there you have it. Now you've got an upgraded gun design. For this upgrade, you're going to want to remove this side panel just to make things easier on yourself, and then I also like to just take off these to make things simple. For this side, I'm just going to probably remove this entire section just to get into it easier. And then from here, you're going to want to remove this entire section completely. Now when you modify this, just take out this middle layer right here. So you're going to take this off, and then remove these pieces, and then this will just go right back on there. And then when you rebuild this, just put an extra layer of plates right here on the edges. So I put a 2x2 plate here and then a round one over here. And that's pretty much the hard part of this entire step. Then you're just gonna put everything right back together. Now you're gonna wanna remove this part right here. Just take that off there, and then I actually use that on the back of my control panels. So I made 2 control panels. These are very, very simple designs. If you do put this one here, it should go over here, because then this will cover it up just like that when we put it back on. And then to finish it off, I just threw these extra parts right here to make a cool little sensor for like when the rack is gonna go in and out. And then I'm just gonna throw 2 droids in here to control it. I like to turn their heads down because not only does it look better, but it also makes it so that they're not even touching this top piece. There we go, and now I'm just gonna reattach these pieces that I took off earlier, and we'll be good to go. And then for this side, you don't have to move it down if you don't want to, but I just decided to put like a little droid in here, and then I'm just gonna throw in some crates and some storage and just some normal stuff. It doesn't have to be very complex. For the upgrade right here, we're just gonna remove everything, which I already did, and then we'll just add some pieces on. And then go ahead and add these 2 pieces on right here, and then you'll just add some more parts onto that. And then just add 2 of these, 1 set there, and 1 set there, and now you're finished. This upgrade will just increase the amount of blasters from 4 to 8 on each side, so that you can accommodate for the 16 droids that are in the main storage rack. So I'm just gonna kind of remove all of this stuff from the interior. Make that really easy. Put this plate in. This already has blasters, but just 1x4 with the side studs on the side, same. And then the piece from over here, that one's just gonna go over here instead. And then we're just gonna add in a very, very simple slope piece. Use that right there. And then for this section right here, I made this really simple contraption that'll just sit right there. And that's it, you're done. And then just copy that to the other side, of course. And that's what it'll look like when it's done. And then for this section, you're just gonna need to remove these 2 Technic beams. And then for this section, just make 2 of these. They're pretty simple and use very generic parts. Add them both into the back, and then take 2 1x2 cheese slopes, and then place those in the back as well. And then you're gonna wanna make these, which you can use any sort of plates, but just 10 long and then 6 long on the bottom. And then these will just go in right here on either side. Next, you can, if you don't have to, but I like to make some sort of back wall here. This is just the exact height you want it to be. And then I would recommend putting these ridges up top to help catch that top door. But you can make it as simple or as interesting as you want. This was just my design. Also, I apologize for all the teeth marks and the Legos. I know I've committed a crime, but there's nothing I can do to undo that. And then you're just going to want to remove this that we built recently. Put it on top of this. And then we're going to put that right on top there. And then you can just take another small one of these and put that right here. And now we're finished with the back section. You have a whole storage unit back here, so you can store droids, cargo, crates, whatever. I made a bunch of these small little yellow pieces using the broken antenna, and then just throwing these in here for fun, but you can do whatever you want with them. And then for the back panel, I used this design, but you can make your own however you want it done. And then that just clips in right here like normal, and then rests right up top there. And then to go with that, I also made this fun back panel design. It's also pretty simple. And then that, you're just gonna take this off, put that on, and then put that right back in there. And now to make the droid rack upgrade. So first you're just going to build that, which is pretty simple, and it's the same on both sides. So you can just copy this design here. It's really not that difficult. And then you're just going to put this piece on, has a stud on the back there, to hold that top section in place. And then you're going to take one of these, put that down here, and then just slap a tile on the side. Then simply make this design, which really isn't that complicated. That will go right down here, so those two will go into there, and then this is going to come around and clip right into that top section, just like that. This top section is a little more complicated, but it's still really simple. So everything just connects in like this, and then right back here, this is actually just a single piece, just to help cover it up, make sure the lid doesn't get stuck. But yeah, it's really simply built. That will just go right on top there. And it's that simple. Now all you have to do is retract it back when you're done, either with or without droids, and you're finished. Now, it can hold 32 droids because you can get 2 in the cockpit. You can fit 2 right there. You can hold 16 in the droid rack. And you can fit 12 in the back. Now, I'm sure if you want to, you could fit a whole lot more than 32 of these little droids in here. After all, there's a lot of ample space that I haven't filled yet. But I thought 32 would where they would fit comfortably and not feel like it's just holding droids. Anyway, that's all I have for today. Make sure to like and subscribe if you liked this video, as it helps me a ton, and have a good rest of your day.